Hello guys and welcome to another Tokyo Revengers video. And in this video, I will be talking about the newest episode of Tokyo Revengers. And this video will be an anime review for episode 25 of Tokyo Revengers, and this is the very first episode of the second season. And this episode covers chapters 74, 75, 76, and 77 of the Tokyo Revengers manga. And this episode is the very first episode of the Black Dragons arc, and this arc is one of the best arcs in the whole entire series. In this video series, I will also be comparing the anime to the manga, and I will analyze these episodes to see if there were any scenes that were removed from the source material. There were many major events that happen in this episode, and I will be talking about all of them in this video. And I think that people will start to like Takemichi's character a lot more after they see what he is capable of during this season, and the reason why I say this is because he has many awesome moments that happen during this season. I thought that the animation of this episode was very good, and I am extremely excited to see that Tokyo Revengers is getting a second season. I have very high hopes for this second season, and I really hope that the animation will be able to maintain a consistent level of quality throughout these 13 episodes. However, unfortunately we can already see that this season will be suffering from censorship issues, and the reason why I say this is because we saw that they actually removed the tattoo that is on Taiju's chest, and I thought that this censorship was a very big disappointment. In this episode, we also learned that this season has the same exact soundtrack that we had in the first season, and this is something I was very happy about, because I really enjoyed the music in this episode. Anyway guys, before I get into this video guys, please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Tokyo Revengers videos. So let's get into the video now. So the last episode of Tokyo Revengers ended with Kisaki capturing Takemichi and Shifuyu, and then we saw that Kisaki actually killed Shifuyu by shooting him in the head with a pistol. And this episode started with Kisaki pointing his gun onto Takemichi's forehead, and Kisaki called Takemichi his hero, and in this moment we saw that he actually started crying. However, out of nowhere, the lights in the room suddenly went out, and the room went completely black. And then the location of this episode switches to underneath a bridge. And in Japanese culture, a bridge symbolizes transitioning from one state to another, so I think that this is a great representation of the character that we are about to be introduced to. Anyway guys, we see that Takemichi finally regained consciousness, and he started wondering what happened to him. And then when he sat up, he suddenly felt an excruciating pain in his leg, and this made him remember that he got shot by Kisaki. And then the person who saved Takemichi suddenly started speaking, and he said that he tended to his wounds. And then Takemichi suddenly noticed that this person has long dark hair, and Takemichi recognized this person as Keisuke Baji. And I really loved the music that was playing in this scene, and this is one of my favorite songs for Tokyo Revengers. Anyway guys, when this person turned around, we saw that this person is actually Kazutora Hanamiya, and I thought that the animation quality of this scene was very amazing. And we can see that this scene is a reference to the panel of Keisuke Baji that we saw during the Battle of Valhalla vs Toman, and I say this because we can see that these two scenes are direct parallels to each other. However, out of nowhere, Kazutora suddenly started attacking Takemichi, and Kazutora repeatedly attacked him with punches and kicks. And then we finally learned about the reason why Kazutora decided to beat up Takemichi, and we learned that the reason is because Kazutora recently just saw a group of Toman members, and these Toman members were beating up an innocent girl on the street. And by the time Kazutora jumped in to stop them, he learned that they were members of Toman, and Kazutora started questioning Takemichi about when Toman became the type of organization that beats women. And then Kazutora told Takemichi that he doesn't give a shit about him, and then he said that the only reason why he went into the building was to try to save Shifuyu from Kisaki. And while he is saying this, we see that Kazutora actually started tearing up, and in this scene we see that Kazutora is crying for Shifuyu, and this was a very sad moment to witness. And in the manga, they didn't really give us a clear shot of this moment, so I am glad that the anime added this scene that includes the side shot of Kazutora's face. And compared to the manga, we can see that a lot of these scenes have been mirrored by the animation team, so this means that we get to see all these moments from the opposite angle that we saw in the manga. And we can really see that Kazutora has gone through a lot of character development, and after getting out of jail he is completely reformed, and he has also become a lot more mature. And Kazutora now uses his power to protect people, and he even saved Takemichi from Kisaki. And Kazutora also saved the girl who was getting beaten up by the Toman members, and this episode is trying to show us that Kazutora has completely changed. Anyway guys, we then see a flashback of Kazutora getting out of jail, and we see that Shifuyu arrived in a car, and in this moment Shifuyu decided to pick up Kazutora from jail. And after they got into the car, Shifuyu started telling Kazutora about the current state of Toman, and in this moment we learned that Shifuyu has been fighting all by himself for all this time. And Shifuyu was basically just telling Kazutora that he wants them to change Toman back into how it used to be, and in this scene, the author is basically just trying to show us the process of how Shifuyu formed his alliance with Kazutora. And then Kazutora got very angry at Takemichi, and he asked him what he was doing while Shifuyu was fighting. And from his facial expression, we can really tell that in this moment Takemichi was very disappointed in himself, and I think that the animator did a great job of expressing the emotions of these characters. And Kazutora also told Takemichi that he was serving as Kasaki's subordinate. And then he goes on to say that Draken was their only hope, however Draken ended up becoming a death row prisoner, and he also said that Mikey has completely disappeared. And then Kazutora questioned if this is the type of era that Mikey wanted to create, and he also questioned if this is the type of gang that Baji wanted to protect. And then Kazutora declared that this is not the type of gang that they wanted to create, and he asked Takemichi if he is correct. And in this emotional moment we see that Takemichi started crying after hearing Kazutora's speech, and then Takemichi started agreeing with Kazutora. Then Takemichi made a declaration, and he said that the Toman that he loved was never like this at all, and he also said that Toman was always something to be proud of. And after hearing this response we see that Kazutora started smiling, and then he just responded by saying, yeah. And then Kazutora just said, let's get our Toman back. Anyway guys, this scene is where chapter 74 ends, and chapter 75 starts off with Kazutora and Takemichi driving in the car. And Takemichi asked Kazutora how Toman ended up like this, and Kazutora responded to this by revealing that it actually was Mikey who completely changed everything. And Mikey got corrupted by the money of the Black Dragons, and he also got corrupted by Kasaki's violence, and because of this, Mikey has gone completely evil. And then in the next scene, Kazutora revealed that while Takemichi was being captured by Kasaki, Pachin and Pei both got murdered during this exact same time. And this episode actually included a visual for this scene that was not in the manga, and in this visual we actually got to see their dead bodies. And I really liked this addition to the anime. And I say this because in this scene we can see that Pei actually tried to save Pachin by jumping in front of his body in order to block the bullets, and I think that this addition really does a great job of showing us the loyalty between these two characters. And the anime also added a scene where Kazutora got a phone call, and this phone call told him the news about their death. And then Kazutora said that Mikey is the person who ordered for them to be killed, and he also said that Mikey has already started killing the original Toman members. And Kazutora said that he is one of the people who is responsible for changing Mikey, so because of this, Kazutora said that this time, he wants to help save Mikey. And we learn that Kazutora has been going after the Black Dragons in order to accomplish his goal, and Kazutora was able to use his connections to find their hidden bank account. And he was planning to target their hidden bank account in order to cut off their cash flow. And while Kazutora was doing this, Shifuyu was supposed to be the one to handle Kasaki, however Shifuyu was killed because he pushed Kasaki into a corner. And Shifuyu was actually able to obtain evidence that could put Kasaki in jail, however Shifuyu kept this evidence a secret in order to protect Takemichi, because the evidence would have also incriminated Takemichi. And this moment really shows us how loyal Shifuyu is, and I say this because Shifuyu could have easily accomplished his goal of getting revenge for Baji, but instead, he decided to let all of his years of hard work go to waste, and he did this all just to protect Takemichi. And we learn that Shifuyu cornered Kasaki by working with a detective, and this detective is actually Naoto Tachibana. And Naoto approached Kazutora and Shifuyu, and they all decided to team up in order to go after the Tokyo Manji gang. And one of the core themes of Tokyo Revengers is the act of taking revenge, and this theme comes into play during this moment because Naoto came to Kazutora and Shifuyu in order to get revenge for Hinata. And this animation of Naoto did a great job of conveying the pain that he is feeling in this moment, and I think that this art style is very expressive. Anyway guys, Kazutora suddenly stopped at an alleyway, and he told Takemichi to get out of the car, because someone in this alley wants to meet up with him. And in the alleyway we see that this person is Naoto Tachibana. However, we see that Naoto suddenly put a pair of handcuffs on Takemichi, and he said that he is placing him under arrest. And then Naoto started glaring at Takemichi, and he told him that it is too bad. And we see that Kazutora got extremely angry at Naoto, and he called him a bastard. Anyway guys, this is where chapter 75 ends, and this chapter ends with Takemichi having a very surprised look on his face. And chapter 76 starts off at the police station, and Takemichi is watching the videotapes that were recorded by Chifuyu. And in these videotapes, Takemichi looks completely different, and he has a very evil personality. And in this videotape Takemichi is ordering Akin to murder someone, and in the next videotape we find out that this person was actually Hinata Tachibana. And we see Takemichi's reaction to the fact that he murdered Hinata in this timeline, and Takemichi is destroying his room, and he is also breaking down into tears at the same exact time. And in the present timeline Takemichi started crying, and he told Naoto to stop showing him these videos. And then Naoto told Takemichi that Chifuyu kept these videotapes hidden in order to protect him. And when he heard this Takemichi fell to his knees, and in this emotional moment we see that Takemichi was having a panic attack. And after falling to his knees, Takemichi said that this time he is the one who killed Hinata, and while he was saying this he had tears streaming down his face. And we can really tell just how much this new information has affected Takemichi, and this was a very depressing scene. And I think that the animation of this crying scene was truly amazing, and this scene had some of the best quality animation in this whole entire episode. And in this moment Takemichi has hit rock bottom, and he told Naoto that he is ready to give up, and he thinks that everything is his fault. However, while Takemichi was crying, we see that Naoto reached out to hug him, and this was a very emotional moment. And then Naoto started crying, and he told Takemichi that he is the person who saved his life, and he also said that Takemichi is not useless. And then Naoto said that they never would have gotten this far if he didn't save Kazutora, Draken, and Chifuyu. And he goes on to say that Takemichi is the only person who can save his sister. And then Naoto screamed out in desperation, and he asked Takemichi to change this hellish world for the better. Anyway guys, this is where chapter 76 ends, and chapter 77 starts off with Naoto talking to Takemichi, and Naoto is speculating about Kisaki. And Naoto said that Kisaki has killed Hinata in every single timeline, and no matter how many times the past has changed, Hinata still always gets killed every single time. So because of this, Naoto was able to deduce that this is not a coincidence, and Naoto thinks that Kisaki has some kind of obsession with Hinata and Takemichi. And this conversation actually triggered one of Takemichi's memories, and he remembered that Kisaki was crying, and Kisaki also called him a hero. Anyway guys, we see that the other policemen started banging on the door, because they noticed that Naoto was taking a very long time. And so because of this, Naoto reached out his hand to Takemichi, and he said that this is his only chance to travel back in time. And then he said that whatever happened in the past with Kisaki is the key to solving the mystery behind his sister's death. And this scene serves to build up the mystery of Teta Kisaki, and I really love this mysterious story element of Tokyo Revengers. And then in the next scene, Takemichi shook hands with Naoto, and this resulted in the time-leaping power being activated. And then Takemichi thought to himself that he is very thankful to Kazutora and Chifuyu, because now he knows who his enemies are. And he declares that he will defeat Kisaki and the Black Dragons in order to save everyone. And when he traveled back to the past, Takemichi realized that he was at a bowling alley with Hinata, and the animation quality had a drastic decrease during this small section of the episode. And we saw that Takemichi was able to get a strike, and we got to see this very wholesome moment where Hinata was congratulating Takemichi. And Hinata also complimented him by saying that he is amazing. And then Hinata told Takemichi that she totally sucks at bowling. And after getting to see Hinata's smile, this caused Takemichi to start crying, because seeing Hinata made him think about what just happened in the future timeline. And then we get to see this very cute moment where Hinata was bowling, and after she got done bowling she was very disappointed, because her ball went straight into the gutter. And I really loved seeing this moment where Takemichi was admiring Hinata's cuteness, and I thought that this was a very wholesome moment to witness. And then Takemichi told Hinata to watch this, and he also told her that he will make his 4th strike in a row. And when Takemichi did the strike, we saw that the person next to him also did a strike at the exact same time, and they did this in perfect synchronization. And then this person said that they were totally in sync, and we see that the girl who was sitting next to him said that their bowling skills were very good. And if you guys recognize this character from the last episode, then you should know that this person is Hakai Shiba, and this character will play a very important role in this arc. And in the next episode, we will be fully introduced to this character. And this episode ends with Takemichi having a very surprised look on his face, and the next episode will start off by showing us the end of chapter 77. So far, every single episode has adapted about 3 manga chapters, so because of this, I am expecting the next episode to end at chapter 80. In the next episode, we will be introduced to Taiju Shiba's character, and we will also be introduced to the members of the Black Dragons gang. And also one of my favorite moments of this arc will happen in the next episode, and the moment I am talking about is Yuzuwa's flying kick. I think that most of the animation budget of this episode went to the Kazutora scene, and the scene of Takemichi crying, and the reason why I say this is because the bowling scene had a noticeable downgrade in animation quality. However, despite this, I really hope that the fight scenes will be animated properly, and I really hope that there will be no more censorship. And this next episode will be very important, and I say this because it will show us if the fight scenes will have high quality animation, and I am very eager to see what will happen. Anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, and want to see more like it, then like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.